Another area down, so let's get a move on. We've got a good amount of climbing to do before we can properly move to the right, after all. And great, now part of me is tempted to just fast forward as we get to the toilet, because I'm getting damn sick of dealing with these guys. Little critters that we're just gonna keep dealing with regardless, since they're recurring enemies. Oddly enough, making these respawning enemies this powerful, while interesting at the absolute start of the game, just makes the game somehow feel like it's dragging on to me now. You'd think over 2.5 hours in that the problem would be me getting sick of fighting against the initial form of Metroid, not the enemies that are barely more than background. You'd also think that the more detailed backgrounds would prevent me from feeling like we haven't gone this way before, despite the fact that the mini-map clearly shows this is supposed to be familiar territory. Again, it's just funny how much easier it is for me to remember maps in a 3-dimensional space than it is for a 2-dimensional one. Aren't those supposed to be more simple? Well, at least I managed to avoid a few of the enemies on our way down. I suppose that means something. Assuming, of course, that you're still willing to feel like killing these same recurrent monsters means something, when we've killed so many in this game so far, and there's a lot of game left after this. Right, may as well save again, if only so we won't have to cover that ground again if something goes wrong. But then, with the way this game's checkpoint system works, the only kind of problem that would really help keep from screwing us over would be a game crash. Or maybe just me absently shutting the game down, and somehow thinking the game has some kind of autosave to go with the checkpoint system. Come to think of it, I can't think of too many games where you have these kinds of save points and checkpoints. It's usually either one or the other. Well, at least our next destination is now visible on the minimap. They certainly made that area rather large. Of course, the question becomes, how large will the next area be? I certainly doubt we're gonna have to deal with 8 Metroids in one sector for a second time in a row. Right, another quick save. Considering those teleport points are supposed to be for convenience, you'd think they'd have left one closer to the acid toilet just to help speed this part up a bit. Or would that have made things a bit too convenient for the game designer's tastes? Oh god, just by counting the slots, that implies one of the future areas is gonna make us chase after 10 Metroids. Funnily enough, I'm dreading that more because of how damn long that would take, not because the Metroids are especially scary to deal with. Is that wrong of me here? Right, too much hope that we'd be able to get to the upgrade in the corner. And I very much doubt I'll bother with it when we have the baby around to eat those crystals anyway. Are we at least going to be able to get the upgrade on the right side of this chamber? Okay then, definitely seems plausible we can get to that upgrade. May not be especially meaningful to be able to carry 3 extra missiles, especially since we can hurt the bosses we've been coming across with weapons that don't have any ammo counter. Still, it's pretty satisfying in its own right. And unlike killing recurring enemies, it continues to stay satisfying, because for the most part the upgrades are more spread out, and there's an alternating amount of effort you've got to put into each and every one of them. Further down we go, with no clue just how deep the Metroid Queen is gonna be this time. Okay, the turret is certainly new. Holy shit! Wasn't expecting it to take out an entire energy tank in a single shot. Dear God! The turret is more dangerous than one of the bosses in this game. Again, they really have to make the Chozo suit feel pretty damn fragile in this game compared to all of the others so far. I just don't get why they made that decision. I'm pretty sure that even in Fusion, we'd be able to take a hit better than we can in this remake for Metroid 2. And again, the team that made this remake initially tried to do a remake of Fusion before Nintendo told them to shift to Metroid 2's section of the story instead. Maybe the lack of durability here is due to a holdover from that opening attempt? Right. Of course this area wants us to find 10 Metroids. I was hoping we wouldn't have to do that many in one area so soon after having to chase down 8 in the last one. But hey, all the toilets have that many slots. Facing this much crap was kind of predictable. Hell, there's no way I'm going up against another turret when we've barely got more energy than a single tank. Okay, so we're just gonna be making short runs back and forth here. I know there are paths that don't require us to even look at these turrets, but still, we've got the ammo to deal with them, so regardless of me knowing it's a bad idea, I'm crazy enough to try anyway. Yeah, I well and truly deserve that. I have literally no excuse. I can't even say it was pride because I damn well knew I was going to get killed for trying to destroy those overly powerful turrets instead of just moving on. Why is it, whenever I see hostiles, I always want to clear them out? It's something I've been doing for all the Metroid games so far. Somehow not a surprise that the orange one is more dangerous than the green ones. If anything, I'm just annoyed that I got wounded this badly by the thing. Why is it so much easier to feel stubborn about continuing a fight that doesn't mean anything when you've got the controller in your hands, than when you're looking at the footage after the fact and don't remember how the fight actually went? Based on the background, part of me wants to say the Chozo were mining gold here. Maybe this planet was their equivalent of the mines of Moria in Lord of the Rings or something. Well, I don't see any problem with saving here, even if there's extremely deadly turrets both above and below us. And good God, those turrets really make it hard to tell which direction we should go. They just make every direction feel like a bad idea. Okay, no clue why I went back here since that acid certainly isn't going anywhere anytime soon. And why is it that I only just noticed that the door down there can't be opened? Bloody hell, I'm definitely making this clip a lot tougher than it strictly needs to be. Why did I even bother trying to use the wave beam on that thing when I've already confirmed that standard beams aren't gonna do a damn thing? And I drop back down to fight the turret because I'm a stubborn bastard who apparently forgot there's no way forward down here and just wants vengeance on a damn turret. Sure, a bit of stupidity didn't last long, but still, that is entirely my bad, and I should just try heading upwards for now. Okay, so the lightning armor doesn't even manage to serve as protection against these turrets. Anyone else find it odd that turrets are this damn powerful, especially since those turrets aren't doing anything to hold back any of the wildlife around here? I know, not much point in asking why we're running into a type of hostile in a game like this, but still. Oh, certainly nice that we had a convenient spot to just blast that one without being shot, but I somehow doubt we're going to find spots like that all the time. You've also got the issue that those things take a lot of missiles to bring down, and we aren't getting a whole lot of ammo or health back for all the effort we're putting into these things. The sooner we get back to full health, the better, because even the weakest of Metroids would be able to rip us apart in this condition. Oh, what fresh annoyance is this? Another thing that the wave beam makes flash, but doesn't seem to actually harm. And just like the small egg from earlier, it looks like the ice beam and missiles have absolutely no effect at all. I'd ask what that plant is made of, since it's clearly a lot more durable than wood, but then I suppose it doesn't really matter what fictional material that thing is made of. Just that it's blocking our way forward and we need a new path. Have I mentioned that I'm getting a bit tired of running into that problem around here? Okay, looks like we're about to gain a new Aeon power. Now the question is, can I last long enough to get it when I've got so little health and Aeon energy right now? Definitely not a lot of health or ammo considering we're still diving headfirst into the unknown. This is literally the only set of circumstances that would make me hope that it takes us quite a long time to find more Metroids to kill. Going up against one as we are right now is just asking for us to become another bit of food. Right, so we have a defensive and an offensive power for Aeon Energy along with the scanner. So that kind of makes me wonder what the fourth power is going to be when we finally get it. At the very least, I think we filled the more obvious possible roles for the energy. And of course, our new ability won't let us get by that barrier. Again, maybe it's just my opinion, but it feels like they kind of overplayed that particular type of annoyance. Especially since it only has an effect on our beam weapons, not the bombs. How many times in the past 2.5 hours have we gotten an upgrade and the immediate barrier in front of us doesn't match the upgrade we've just gotten? At the very least, I can't help feeling like that sort of thing makes these puzzles feel like they drag on for far too long. Though, maybe that has more to do with the fact that this is our third Metroid game, and we did the whole Metroid hunting song and dance in the previous game already. Right, let's see if the new beam can cut through the plant. Not a surprise that it's energy intensive, and I'm very much doubting I'll ever have the lightning armor on at the same time as the more powerful beam. Okay, bit of an annoying time for the game to freeze up for a second. But at least that little hiccup didn't lead to us outright crashing. As fun as this game is, the less we have to redo in a given clip, the better. While I'm not trying to rush my way through this game, I'd still prefer to get it done in as smooth a manner as possible. Anyway, doesn't look like we're going to be able to go through this tunnel for the time being. Let's check the other one for now. Right, another turret. Okay, so being shot by a turret turns off the Aeon going into our cannon for some reason? That doesn't feel right. Bloody hell, those things are seriously killing us so often, part of me just wants to call them cheap as hell. Sure, I appreciate that the game isn't holding our hand tightly, and we're allowed to feel like idiots instead of being absurdly capable absolutely all the time. It really makes our growth over the course of the game feel all the more satisfying. Still, just because I don't want to feel like the game designers don't think we can figure things out for ourselves, that doesn't mean I feel the turrets are all that balanced compared to all the other threats we run into across this game. Right. Of course we ran out of missiles before it ran out of health. I probably should have pulled out the rapid-fire beam from the start, especially since we only just gained it. Well, we got all our missiles again. That's something. Okay, apparently getting hit this time didn't knock me out of that Aeon power. Wonder why that was the case last time. Did I jump in my seat and hit the wrong button at the time, or something to that effect? I suddenly have the feeling I wasn't supposed to come from down there to up here. But then the Metroid series is full of moments where the player tries to go where they aren't supposed to in order to find and destroy various monsters and grab numerous power-ups, so... Why in the hell did I shoot a missile when I meant to just rapid-fire that damn thing? Apparently this power-up is going to take a lot more getting used to than I thought. Or at the very least getting used to than compared to the other items we've grabbed so far in the game. Technically, that's a new enemy for this game, though we've seen plenty of the damn things in the earlier two games. But it's hard to call it as annoying to deal with when the counter mechanic just does so well against everything other than the turret. Okay, we've got more rocks falling in the background, which somehow doesn't feel all that menacing since after the background shaking and causing pillars to fall in our previous clip, there was no follow-up. Are those supposed to be signs of the Metroid Queen causing quakes like in AM2R? Because if it's just trying to build up to something menacing, it's oddly enough got not enough effect on what's going on where we can move. In AM2R, it worked because the shaking opened and closed paths for us. We saw something physically happen to the world around us whenever a quake happened. We could predict when a quake would happen, and there was a bit of text that said these were not a natural occurrence. Whereas here, the things breaking in the background seemed disconcerting the first time, because I thought there would be some immediate consequences. If there were any, then I didn't see them before the second background shaking thing happened. Well, I'm sure they're still building to something. It would have been better to show more hints of what they're building to. Some distant roar or a barely distinct threat in the background as the bits of background terrain break. As is, the only thought that springs to mind is that these old ruins only chose now, when Samus has arrived, to start finally falling apart some more, and it's not even in ways that are meaningful to our journey at the moment. Sorry if that seems a bit too nitpicky. I have a tendency to get nitpicky even with things I enjoy quite a bit, which gets especially strong when I'm essentially talking to myself as the footage goes by in front of me. Kind of amazed we didn't get hit there. Okay, definitely looks like we're not going to be able to go back up. Given that and the music, I'm pretty sure we're due for another upgrade. Okay then. I'm guessing the blocks with blue lights are things we can grapple onto. Not too sure about the red ones, though. And again, even when I had a console that has a touchscreen, I tend to prefer not actually using the touchscreen controls when there are more standard analog controls for many of the other functions. Huh. Wasn't expecting the red ones to be destroyed when we pull at them. I guess if we backtrack, we'll have some more open paths and be able to get some of those upgrades we gave up on earlier clips. Assuming, of course, I remember where those specific upgrades are, and that I managed to get out of the hole where we found this upgrade in the first place. Got to admit, I like being able to go upwards so fast. Of course, now I can't help wondering what kind of damage the grapple beam can do to regular enemies we run into along the way. Okay, seems there's a bit of a recolor for the bug swarms as well. Not sure if I find that funny or sad, since sure, they can attack us faster, but they're still completely shut down by the lightning armor, and just as fragile to our attacks. Of course, by that same logic, the other enemy recolors aren't especially more dangerous because all it takes is one good counter to cancel them out. Counters that we've already been able to pull reasonably well by practicing on the more basic forms of these creatures. Don't get me wrong, I like the counter mechanic in this game. I just don't like that, it's essentially an instant win button for so many enemy types. That's part of what makes dealing with the turrets so much more dangerous than it needs to be. It is one of the bare few things that we can't counter in this game. So many of the enemies around here can be approached the exact same way, while that requires a distinctly different approach. Okay, so apparently we need to approach the red blocks from specific angles in order to destroy them. Or apparently move them in this case. Good to know. Well, it's certainly been long enough since our last save. May as well take a break here.